Hello, thank you for joining me, Chris, with Game Gumshoes, for another Game Gumshoes Presents. And this one, we're going to cover the Mars Attacks Dice Game by Steve Jackson Games. The Mars Attacks Dice Game is actually pretty fun and very quick. Although I have seen it take a little bit of a time. It all depends on how well the nuke system works out. But we'll get to that. This is a game that at Origins last year I played as a beta, I guess it is. It was just dice with stickers on it. Now the dice are nice, custom carved, laser printed dice. On the dice you will see a ray gun, you will see a nuke symbol, and you will see a little Martian head. All the artwork in the game is based on the Mars Attacks by Topps. You will have a first person button, which you would put with the first player, and it is important. You also have several little tokens like this that have a little Martian on them, and they're all color coded for each of the different players playing the game. You have this card, which you want to keep separate from your other cards. This is your difficulty level card, so if you want a longer game and it to be just a little bit easier, especially the first few times you play, use this side with the two nuclear symbols. If you want a quick, fast, easy game, or relatively easy game, go with the one with only one nuke symbol on it. It really does matter. And the Mars Attacks dice game, you are trying to take over various cities and monuments and things. So, in the game, you have your cities and stuff, and you want to shuffle them up. Based on the number of players, you will have 4 piles, and not including your difficulty card, but you'll have 4 piles, and each pile is stacked as high as the number of people you have playing. Wow, that was a tongue twister. In it, you're going to roll all 10 dice, and depending on if you're going for a city or a monument, and the monuments are brown, cities are purple, will make a difference on what dice you re-roll, if you want to re-roll. There are some cities, 2 in fact, that require you to be nuked. Now, one is a progressive nuke. The other one you can only win if you've been nuked out of a city. The way it works is you take your button and you claim a city that you want to go for. Now, if you're going for a regular city, you need ray guns to try to take it over. So when you roll your 10 dice, you go and you figure out how many ray guns you have. Any nuclear symbols will go on the cards. Now you'll have them in a row of 4, although I did take and have it as a 4 square, and we just paid attention to which direction the cities traveled. That way, your nuke symbols are lining up to the point of whether or not you've been nuked out of existence, or if you're still safe. With this case, with the monuments, you'll be playing trying to get the Martian heads. So if you're rolling the Martian heads, re-roll the ray gun dice. Nukes obviously go on the symbols, and keep them as that. Now, there are some cities that have a little bit of writing down at the bottom. Denver has one that's an ongoing effect. Now, it does not take effect until after you've won the city. Now, the red ones, like are on Los Angeles, they actually take effect while you're trying to take this city over. Okay, so pay close attention to that. It really makes a difference, because things like Denver allow you to basically cheat. Long and short of it. So Denver here says once per turn, if you are nuked on your first roll, you may ignore the results of that roll and start your turn again. So like last night, I'm amazed at how this happened, but last night, out of 10 dice, I rolled 9 nuke symbols. There were only like 7 spaces to be nuked, so I would have been nuked out of the game. And so thankfully I had Denver and was able to save my hide and re-roll, and I actually captured the city I was going after. Now, multiple people can go after the same city, And if someone were to get the city first, well, the other person's just SOL. And so they take their button back, and the other person snickers and laughs because they have the victory points for the city. Now, the whole object is to gain these victory points, because once that stack is empty, once a stack is empty, doesn't matter which stack, but you've got 4 to choose from. Once a stack is empty, then you count up your victory points and decide who the victor is. It should be kind of obvious because, well, they'll have the most points. It's kind of interesting when you're playing with 3 players and someone goes out on like turn 4 or 5. Really short game, but you know, it is what it is because you know, there were lots of nuke symbols on a lot of the cities that were in the row. Now, we did alternately have a game that seemed like it took forever because we kept getting nuked out because there was only 4 nuke symbols across the board, and that's including the 2 on the difficulty card. If you get a chance, try out Mars Attacks Dice Game from Steve Jackson Games. I really, really recommend it. Fun, quick, easy, and you can take it just about anywhere unless you have people complaining that you're taking up too much space. But that shouldn't be the case because you can fudge the space needed if you want to. But that's Mars Attacks, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.